Welcome to the HitmonChannel. This is the draft analysis video for the NFL, the Nelson Factory League. It is a Pokemon Showdown League that I have started. I am Noah. I am the coach of the St. Paul Slurpuffs. And today we're going to be analyzing the draft as a whole. Not just my team, but everyone's team. So we're going to be taking a look at the draft, the Pokemon that were drafted in the order they were drafted, as well as Z Crystals for the entire team. For all the teams. We have 10 teams in the league. Of course, me, I am coach of the St. Paul Slurpuffs. We have Alex, aka The Volcanocraft, who is coach of the Canada Chargebugs. We have Aaron, aka All-Seeing Eye, who's coach of the Paris Automatons. We have Caterade 5, who is coach of the Anaheim MUX. We have Jacob, aka Make a Gamer, coach of the Chicago Chandeliers. We have my buddy Philip, aka Fluffy Penguin 99, coach of the Moscow Magikarps. We have Mikey, he doesn't really have a username anymore. I mean, he used to go by Shockwave LPs. I think now on YouTube he just goes by Mikey B or something. Coach of the Wisconsin Whiskashes. We have the Bearcat, aka Sam, coach of the USS Arcerings. We have Evan, coach of the Brighton Bewares. And last but certainly not least, we have Colin, coach of the Valencia Venusaurs, who you may remember were one of my opposing teams in the ATL back over on my channel in Season 1 of the Advanced Tiering League. And now he has joined me for my draft league that I have started. This is the NFL, the Nelson Factory League. Now, the draft for this works a little bit differently than it does for GBA. The drafting system for this league is actually based on the UCL, the United Championship League. And so basically, each team gets to draft 12 total Pokemon. 3 from each of the 4 major Smogon tiers, OU, UU, RU, and NU. During the OU draft, teams were able to draft from OU and UUBL. UU round, people were able to draft from UU and RUBL. During the RU round, people were able to draft from RU and NUBL, and during the NU round, people were able to draft from NU and below. So, we're going to be covering every Pokemon that was drafted, and the order is a little bit wonky because some people were not present for the time that they were supposed to go in the draft. We had some issues with two coaches ended up dropping out of the league during the draft. So Colin and Evan were actually replacement coaches. So the order of the draft is a little bit wonky, but everyone's got the same amount of mons. The draft is complete, and Week 1 battles will be coming up this Sunday, I think is when I'm gonna post them, because I gave coaches a due date of Saturday, so I'll probably be posting the battles on Sunday. Anyways, here we are going to go over every mon that was drafted. First off, the USS Arcerings had the first overall pick, and they drafted Mega Charizard X. A very strong first pick. Obviously wanted to get his Mega out of the way. It works very well for a Fire Water Grass core. It also works for a Steel Dragon Fairy core. It's got great physical attack, great coverage. With the Tough Claws ability, I believe just boosts contact moves. All in all, pretty good first pick. And I believe it's only weak to ground, rock, and dragon, because I think all the other types of the weaknesses of fire and dragon are neutralized by the other. So yeah, definitely a very good first pick. And up next was the Paris Automatons, and to no one's surprise, they ended up drafting their mascot, Magearna. Magearna is a force to be reckoned with. Steel Fairy type, very good typing, only weak to fire and ground. And a fantastic ability with Soul Heart, allowing its special attack to rise whenever a Pokemon is knocked out. Not necessarily by a direct attack, I believe. So this thing is a powerhouse. A lot of leagues actually ban it, but I actually allowed it because it is OU, and we were just doing based on the OU tiers, so to keep things nice and simple, I allowed this. Hopefully we don't regret that decision. Up next was Kade 5 with the Anaheim MUX, and he drafted what is probably one of the most dangerous Pokemon of the current meta. He drafted Tapu Koko. Fantastic. Can be special or physical, really. The electric terrain, powering up those electric type moves. It's got good coverage with electric and fairy. Works nice for a Steel Dragon Fairy core. I don't know too much about some of the newer Mons competitively, but this thing is definitely a force to be reckoned with. I know it is one of the most dangerous Mons in the current meta, and yeah, like a fantastic first pick by Kade. Up next, the Chicago Chandeliers. My buddy Jacob drafted probably one of the most annoying Mons to face off with. He drafted Ferrothorn. Now this thing, Grass Steel type, it's a pretty good typing. It's got that quad weakness to fire, but when you consider how bulky it is and what, like, all the stuff it gets access to, I mean, it gets access to Stealth Rocks, Leech Seed, Knockoff, Gyro Ball, Power Whip. This thing is so annoying to take down. The Iron Barb's ability makes it even harder to hit, because if you hit it on the physical side, you're taking damage. And overall, this thing is just so annoying to face off with. I'm not looking forward to facing this thing. I always have trouble when facing off against this thing, and I'm not looking forward to it. Up next, Alex, coach of the Canada Charge Bugs, drafts his Mega. He drafts Mega Gallade. An interesting pick for first pick. I mean, it's not a bad Mega. I feel like this one is actually very much overlooked because it's got very good attack stat, and a lot of different coverage. It gets, of course, Stab, Psychic, and Fighting, both of which work for a Psychic, Fighting, Dark core, if he wants to go for that. He's got, obviously, he's got Poison Jab, I believe, Leaf Blade, Night Slash, I think it might even get Knockoff, I think it gets X-Scissor or something, Elemental Punches, Swords Dance. This thing is dangerous. This thing is very overlooked by a lot of people. I mean, it is UUBL, but I think Alex is going to make great work of this thing. Up next, the Wisconsin Whiscash is drafting another strong Psychic-type Mega. He drafted Mega Alakazam, who has one of the highest if not the highest special attack stats in the meta, OU and below, of course. You know, it's not very bulky, it's pretty frail, but its speed and special attack more than make up for that, and it's definitely a strong choice for a Mega. Yeah. Up next, the Moscow Magikarps draft another huge OU threat in the current meta, Landorus T. This thing is one of the strongest Pokemon in the current meta. Ground flying type. It's got a couple of immunities to electric and ground. It's got that quad weakness to ice, but I mean, this thing is so strong it hardly even matters, and it gets plenty of rock type moves to take out ice types. And its only other weakness is water, so yeah. It's very strong. It gets Intimidate, which is a fantastic ability. Gets access to Stealth Rocks, I believe. Defog even, as of Ultra Sun and Moon. And all in all, great first pick. I am so scared of the Moscow Magikarps, which I never thought I would end up saying. But as we go on further in their team, Phillips' team just gets scarier and scarier as it goes along. And I had the next pick, and I was very glad nobody sniped this bad boy from me. It's my boy Mew. Ivraith is here. I didn't get to use him in the ATL. I'm getting to use it now. I'm so happy that I got this as my first pick. First of all, it works great for a Psychic Dark Fighting Core, but I was planning on drafting this first pick. I actually didn't know about the potential Dark Psychic Fighting Core. I didn't know that was a viable core until like 2 days before the draft started. So I was like, oh, even better for drafting Mew. But Mew was going to be my first pick no matter what, because it is, hands down, the most versatile Pokemon in the meta. Its move pool is huge, rivaled only by Smeargle, which can literally learn every move. And that Mon's not good. Its stats don't back it up, and this Pokemon's stats back it up. It's base 100 across the board. It's so versatile. You can run this thing however you want it. You can run it bulky, you can run it as a special sweeper, you can run it as a physical sweeper, you can run it mixed. It's just, you can run it as support. It's just, it can do pretty much anything that you want it to. And that's why I really wanted to scoop it up for the team, and that's why I'm so glad it did not get picked before my turn came around. I was very happy that this thing was still around. Up next, we have the Brighton Bewares. Originally, again, he took over for another team, and the other coach that was in this spot did draft a couple of the Mons already. Basically, we got like I think we got halfway through the drafting process before this particular coach decided to drop out. Whereas the one that Colin took over for dropped out after we were done with OU and didn't draft anything, so that's why you won't be seeing any of Colin's Mons for quite a while, because he was the last one to draft anything. And yeah, so the Brighton Bewares didn't draft the first half of their team, really. They were given the opportunity to make any changes they wanted to, but they actually kept I think they kept all but one of the Mons that were already drafted for them. So, the first Mon they drafted was a powerhouse, Megalatios, one of the most powerful Megas. It and Megaladios, and you'll see Megaladios later, but this thing is dangerous. It's a little bulkier than Mega Latios in exchange for having lower attack stats, but it doesn't matter. It still has very decent attack stats, mostly special, but you can run it physical if you want it to. Yeah, it's got great coverage. I believe it gets access to Dragon Dance or something. I don't know. Yes, it does. Calm Mind, so you can set up either way. It's got so many different type coverages. Levitate, giving it that ground immunity. Very powerful for a potential Steel Dragon Fairy core and a Dark Psychic Fighting core. So, all in all, great first pick. And this is where Evan actually made his first change. The original coach we had in this spot drafted Victini, which isn't a bad choice, but it is clear that the Brighton Bewares wanted to take it a different direction and drafted Tapu Lele. Another Mon that is commonly banned in draft leagues. I didn't ban it because it's OU, and I was honestly kind of considering this before I ultimately decided on drafting Mew first round. This thing's a powerhouse. Again, it works great as part of a Steel Dragon Fairy core or a Dark Psychic Fighting core. It's got 2 Psychic types, so he's doubling up on typings a little early there, but that's fine. He makes up for it with later picks. Psychic terrain is arguably the best terrain. That's why Tapu Lele is generally banned over the rest of the Tapus. Because it stops priority moves, which is huge, especially given that it would normally be weak to Shadow Sneak. And probably some other moves I'm forgetting. But anyway, stopping priority moves is huge, and that includes anything with Prankster. So that is very useful, and it's a great special attacker. Its Psychic type moves getting boosted by that Psychic terrain. I don't necessarily know all that it gets access to, but I know it's banned from most leagues for a reason. So hopefully, again, just like Magearna, I hope I don't regret letting this thing slide. And with my next pick, I wasn't originally going to draft Greninja here, but me and a couple of the coaches were talking, and Mikey was like, "Oh, I can't believe Greninja's OU," and I was like, "Yeah, it got that way before it got that way in Sun and Moon. I guess it's like with all the new Mons they have, it's not really as dangerous as it used to be." And he's like, "Yeah, I hope nobody snipes that from me." And I did not want Mikey to have both this thing and Mega Alakazam. Because again, this is another one that is banned from most draft leagues, apart from having it with Torrent. But again, because it's OU, it's no longer Ubers, because, you know, there's counters for it now. There's good counters for it now. This thing, I decided to allow it with any ability, and this is one that I'm definitely not going to regret because I drafted it. I'm so happy I got this. This is going to be great for my team. Of course, another super versatile Mon. Almost as versatile as Mew. And maybe even more to some people because it does get access to Protean, which allows it to change its type. It basically gets stab on everything, which is nice. You can also run it Ash Greninja, which is super powerful as well. Usually you'll be running it special, but you can run it physical, and you might see me running it physical some weeks. I don't know, we'll see. We will see. Just depends on the week. But yeah, and again, this works This works nicely with Mew for a Dark Psychic Fighting Core, and it works nicely to start my Grass Fire Water Core, because my priority when drafting these mons was I wanted to get my 3 cores fulfilled. I wanted to get a Dark Psychic Fighting Core after I learned about a Dark Psychic Fighting Core's existence. I wanted to get a Grass Fire Water Core, and I wanted to get a Steel Dragon Fairy Core. And luckily, I was able to get all of those, and I think I did pretty well on getting those. You know, you guys will see in the rest of the draft what I used to fulfill the rest of those cores. See what I mean by the Moscow Magikarps keep getting scarier and scarier? Not only do they have Landorus T, but they have Kyurem Black. 2 super dangerous physical attackers. And this thing can be special too. Such dangerous Pokemon. I am so upset he got both of these. I mean, I wasn't planning on drafting either of them, but I hate that they're both on the same team. Ugh, because, that is gonna be dangerous. I am not looking forward to facing Philip. This is going to be a terrifying team. Kyurem Black obviously gets decent coverage with Dragon Ice and gets plenty of electric type moves as well, being a fusion of Kyurem and Zekrom. And I don't know much about what it gets access to because I've never used it personally, but I know this thing is dangerous. So, yeah. Up next, the Wisconsin Whiscashes draft another big threat for their team. Drafting Tyranitar works very nicely with Mega Alakazam for a potential Dark Psychic Fighting Core. Of course, being a pseudo-legendary, it's got great stats. Of course, he can't Mega Evolve it because he already has Mega Alakazam. But this did prevent anyone else from potentially drafting Mega T-Tar, which is huge. Sandstream's a nice ability, of course. You know, it can damage his non-rock, ground, and steel types, but it boosts this thing's special defense, and it doesn't get damaged by it. It's got great physical attack and physical defense. It's got that quad weakness to fighting, but considering most fighting types are physical attackers, it honestly doesn't matter that much. And it gets Dragon Dance to set up. This thing can be terrifying. Great second pick. Canada Chargerbugs decide to scoop up Zygarde 50%. Of course, Zygarde 100% is banned because it is Ubers. However, Zygarde 50% is still quite a good mon. Sure, it's got that quad weakness to ice, but Gallade pairs pretty well with that, being a fighting type, so it doesn't matter for him that much. He does have a bit of a fairy weakness at this point, but he does do a good job to cover for that later on in the draft. And of course, this thing gets a very decent move pool. 1,000 arrows being able to knock down flying types is huge. As well as access to Dragon Dance. Coil, I believe, it also gets access to Coil. And it also works very well for part of a Steel Dragon Fairy Core. So that is, again, huge. Great synergy with his team, I'm thinking. Up next, I didn't skip anyone, did I? No. Okay. Jacob, coach of the Chicago Chandeliers, drafted Weavile. Weavile is a very fast Pokemon, great physical attacker. It's got that 4 times weakness to fighting, which is a common weakness with his Ferrothorn, and also they're both weak to fire as well. But Jacob does make up for that later on in the league, or later on in the draft. But despite their common weaknesses, they fulfill 2 completely different roles, and I think will actually work pretty well together. This thing can also be part of a potential Dark Psychic Fighting Core. I don't know if Jacob actually drafted a Dark Psychic Fighting Core, probably doesn't even know about a Dark Psychic Fighting Core. I don't know. Jacob's not too experienced, so he was just kind of winging it, but he did pick pretty good picks for just winging it, so... And of course, Kade grabs the Mega Latios. Oh, such a dangerous pairing with Tapu Koko. One of the most powerful Steel Dragon Fairy cores, and he does get a Steel type later on, and it's a good one. I won't say what it is yet, but it is a good one. He did get a very good one. Yeah. I mean, what can I say that I didn't already say about Mega Latios? Well, this one has a little more attack in exchange for less defense, but it doesn't matter. It's still got very decent stats all around, and is going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially paired with Tapu Koko. It's so dangerous. I'm so scared, because Kade's probably the most experienced competitive battler in this league. So, he knows what he's doing, he knows what he's drafting, and it's dangerous. Up next, the Paris Automatons draft their Mega Caesar, another Mega that's often overlooked, but it is a great Mega with only 1 weakness. It's a quad weakness to fire, which is Magearna is also weak to, but, you know, later on in the draft, he does get some answers for that. It's got a great ability with Technician, which powers up some of the weaker moves, and it's decently bulky on the physical side, and maybe on the special side, I don't know exactly. I don't know all their stats off the top of my head, and of course, this thing's main job is going to be as a physical attacker. It gets access to Swords Dance for setup. It also gets access to Roost for reliable recovery. This thing is going to be tough to deal with unless you have a good fire type. And another big physical threat drafted by the USS Arcerings, Tapu Bulu. This thing is dangerous, especially because I don't know that much about it, but I know it's dangerous. I know it's got very strong physical attack. The grassy terrain, of course, that can be beneficial for the other player because it heals any mon that's on the ground. So there's that. It does weaken Earthquake, which can be very helpful. And of course, Grass Fairy, good coverage, good for 2 different cores. As I keep mentioning these cores, because cores are very important for competitive battling. It's got that 4 times weakness to Poison, but Poison isn't a necessarily super common type, so it could be dangerous to handle. And they got the wheel pick and drafted Hoopa Unbound, another huge threat. Oh boy. Psychic Dark type, I believe, which it's got that 4 times weakness to Bug, but, you know, it's still a huge threat. I don't exactly know entirely what it gets access to, but I know it gets a lot of coverage. I remember having trouble facing off against this thing in the ATL until I believe Slurpuff took it out in 1 shot with Belly Drum Play Rough. Oh yeah, love that thing. as you can see by the fact that I changed my team name from Cloud City Cubones to St. Paul Surplus. But I'm getting off topic. This thing's a big threat and rounds out the USS Arsaring's OU drafts pretty well, I'd say. And the Paris Automatons grab themselves Porygon Z. This thing is dangerous. With the download ability, it'll come in and usually I think gets the special attack boost with that download, which is huge. It's got great coverage. It's a fantastic special attacker. So many different type coverages. And I guess I'm going to spoil what Aaron drafted for a Z Crystal, but equipped with the Normalium Z, gets access to Z Conversion, which will raise all its stats and change its type, which is super dangerous. I don't know if Aaron knows about that strat, but I'm scared that he does because he drafted Normalium Z. So, we'll have to see how that pans out. And of course, if he didn't know about it, if he's watching this, he probably knows about it now. And Anaheim MUX round out a very powerful Steel Dragon Fairy Core with Heatran. This thing is very powerful. Of course, Fire, Steel, good typing. It does have a quad weakness to ground, but a lot of these really good typings have 4 times weaknesses, so it doesn't matter that much. But this thing is going to be a pain in the ass. I honestly don't know what it gets access to, really, but I know that it is powerful. It can switch into Fire-type moves very safely because it gets Flash Fire. That can be very dangerous if it, like, say you're using a Fire-type move on, I don't even know what he has later on that's weak to Fire, but he can predict you, switch in this Heatran, take the Fire-type move, it powers up his Fire-type moves, and you're dead. So, yeah, this thing is not something to mess around with. And the Chicago Chandeliers round out their OU picks with Hawlucha. Hawlucha is a very good mon, often overlooked, but it is powerful, fighting, flying type, no other mon like it. Flying Press, no other move like it. It's the only dual typed move. It's pretty sweet. I know there's a set that I have with Hawlucha, with Unburden, Citrus Berry, Sword Stance, Substitute, High Jump Kick, Acrobatics. I'm not sure that I should be giving Jacob any ideas, but that's a very powerful set. Very similar to the Slurpuff set I ran in the ATL. Yeah, this thing is very dangerous. Again, not something you want to mess around with. Alex Scott Cortana. I did not know much about this until I looked it up on Pokemon Showdown. This little origami fucker. Sorry for the language, but this little origami fucker. Actually, that sounds weird now that I think about it. Sounds like he's fucking origami. Whatever. This thing has, I believe, the second highest attack stat of stuff OU and below. I think the only Pokemon that has higher attack stat than it, that's OU and below, is Mega Heracross. This thing, why does this thing have so much physical attack? It's made of paper. This thing is dangerous. Ooh, and Beast Boost. Beast Boost is a thing, so it can raise that attack even higher. Oh, I'm not looking forward to facing this thing. Although, with good fire type, it's gone. So watch out for that. And another pseudo-legend pick from the Wisconsin Whiscash is Mikey drafts Salamence. Not gonna lie, I was actually considering drafting Salamence. Not at this point because I got Greninja and had other plans for my last OU-mon. But this thing is dangerous, obviously. It's an Intimidate Mon, but it also gets access to Moxie, which allows its attack to raise every time it gets a kill. It gets access to Dragon Dance, raise attack and speed even higher than they already are. You can't Mega, A, because he's already got a Mega, and B, because the Mega's Ubers. But still, even without its Mega, this thing is super dangerous. I mean, grab an Ice type, and, handle that, I guess. And the Moscow Magic, oh my god. I'm so fucking terrified of Philip's team. He has Landorus T, he has Kyurem Black, and he has Mega Medicham. One of the most powerful Megas in the meta. This thing has a high attack stat, Pure Power, which doubles its attack. Whew. Oh man, if you don't have a good physical wall, Philip is sweeping you. Philip is sweeping you with all of his OU picks. Seriously, if you don't have a good physical wall, get one. Oh boy. This thing is so dangerous. Duncan's been using it in the... Duncan Knee Deep has been using it in the WBE, and it has wrecked shop. Oh, I don't even know what to say about this thing. It gets great coverage. Oh, I'm so terrified of this team. Oh, moving on. My team, again. My Mega... Robbie Rotten, or Smitty. You know, I've got multiple different nicknames for this thing. But Mega Venusaur is back. The first, and not the last, returning member from the Cloud City Cubones, coming on to the St. Paul Slurpuffs for this season of the NFL. This thing, I feel like it served my team well. Like, I wanted a good Grasswater Fairy. Grasswater Fire, not Grasswater Fairy. That's not a core, Noah. Grasswater Fire core. And this thing was pretty much the best grass type I was gonna get, I think. The thick fat ability is huge because it basically eliminates two of its weaknesses. I mean, it still says super effective, but it's not really super effective. Anyway, I feel like I underused this Mon in the ATL. I want to use it better this time around. I think actually putting it in a good, strong grass, water, fire core, because in the ATL, I was very new to competitive battling then. So I hope to redeem myself in this league and redeem my boy Mega Venusaur, Robbie Rotten, or Smitty, whatever I decide to name it. Probably depends on the week. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, and the Brighton Bewares drafted Landorus T. This thing, I honestly don't see this thing much, so I do not know what it really gets access to. But it's the only pure flying type, so that's cool. Hurricane is dangerous. If he sets up the rain, that's 100% accurate. I honestly don't know what else to say about this thing. I don't even know what ability it has. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, no, Regenerator. Woo, Regenerator. Oh, that's scary. This thing could be run bulky and heal up damage on switch outs. So, yeah, that is something to worry about, for sure. And finally, we get to Colin's picks. Because Colin took over for a guy who did not draft any of his OU months. He was not around for any of the draft. And we were just like, okay, we're going to replace you then. If you're not going to be around for the draft. And he's like, go ahead, I'm busy. And for Colin's first pick, he certainly did not get the short end of the stick, as it would seem he would, for not being able to draft anything until we had already drafted. But got Celesteela, another very dangerous Ultra Beast. Works phenomenally for a Steel Dragon Fairy core, and all in all, it's quite a force to be reckoned with. All its stats are very decent except for speed. I believe everything else besides speed is above 100, so this thing is dangerous. And it gets Leech Seed for some reason. I don't get that. Whatever. And he also drafted Garchomp. Oh, not Mega. So he stopped anyone. Well, everyone had already drafted, so nobody could draft Mega Garchomp anyway. But this thing, I mean, yeah, regular Garchomp seems to be more used than Mega Garchomp. Because I think Mega Garchomp gets slower or something. I don't know. But this thing is great. It's got that quad weakness to ice, but, you know, it doesn't matter that much. Because it's fast and it'll take most things out. It gets Dragon Dance, so it can power up its physical attack and speed at the same time, which it already has very high in both. And it works great with Celesteela for a Steel Dragon Fairy core. Oh, I forgot he drafted this thing. This thing was the bane of my existence in the ATL. Colin didn't have it. I think it was Pichu Bros. The Pichu Bros, coach of the Adelaide Agrons, who had this thing. And it just swept my team. I hate this thing. I hate this thing. I hate it. Oh, man, I'm not happy to be facing off against one of these things. Ooh, I'm scared. It gets Quiver Dance. It sets up one Quiver Dance and you're done. You're done. It's 4 times weak to Rock, though. And I will be sure to take better advantage of that during my battle with him whenever that happens. Oh, and that's it for OU. Now we're on to UU. Anaheim MUX draft Suicune. A great water type. I remember fond memories of this. I almost during the ATL, I tried to make a deal to trade for this thing. Didn't work. So actually, if I didn't get Greninja for my water type, my plan... Well, actually, no. My plan was to draft Pelipper. But I was highly considering this for a water type. Luckily, I got Greninja, so I didn't have to worry about Kade taking it first turn. So, there we go. Again, it's a nice, especially bulky, and it can raise that special attack and special defense even higher with Calm Mind. This thing, it's very powerful. Speaking of powerful Johto legendaries, I know some people consider this a mythical Pokemon, but that's just a stupid term for event-exclusive mons. I don't care who calls it mythical. They're legendary Pokemon. Deal with it. The Canada Charge Bugs draft Celebi. I like this thing. Design-wise, I haven't necessarily had the best luck battling with one. I know I had one, like, at the very end of the ATL, but I don't think it really did anything. I don't remember it doing anything for my team, really. But, it, you know, if used in the right hands, it can be very, very powerful. Again, it's another one of those base 100 across the board mons, so that's nice. Got some good coverage. I think out of, like, the first three, like, Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, those are, like, the three main Pixie legendaries, or, like, the first three. Like, those are probably, like, the three that are most associated with, like, being Pixie legendaries, like, base 100 across the board. I think Celebi probably has the least coverage out of those three, which is why it's UU while the others are OU, but it's still a very good mon. The Brighton Bewares draft Raikou. What's with these Johto legend? I just realized 3 Johto legendaries are the first 3 mons to go from UU. I didn't pick up on that before, and that's pretty fucking incredible. Raikou, obviously, great electric type. I don't know what else I could say about it. It's a great electric type. It's fast. That's a thing. That's all I got for you. I'm not good at this. I'm so happy. Oh, forgot. Yes. I drafted Infernape. I'm very excited to use this thing. I've never actually really used an Infernape. But this thing is a powerhouse. Kade was freaking out because, Kade was freaking out in the middle, like, towards the end of the UU, because apparently the first 2 mons I draft from UU are apparently, like, at the top of, are, like, some of the best UU mons. I don't, like, I mean, I believe it. I don't have enough experience to have known that. I just wanted to draft these mons, because I knew they'd be good for my team. This mon successfully completes 2 of my cores. I already have 2 of my 3 Pokemon cores completed, and I only have 4 mons. Seriously. Because Greninja and Infernape are both part of 2 cores, the same 2 cores. So these 2 are going to be working together a lot, and I'm very excited for the combo of these 2. This thing can be special, or physical, or mixed. Either way, it's not bulky, but it's both of its attack stats and its speed more than make up for it. Yeah, this is all around great pick. I'm so glad I got this to round out 2 of my cores. So yeah. And to no one's surprise, the Chandeliers draft Chandelure. I mean, a lot of teams are drafting their mascots. If you couldn't tell, you'll just have to wait and see what other teams draft their mascots. I mean, you never know. I might have. I did, but we'll talk about that later. Chandelure, Ghost Fire type, pretty good typing. Very strong No, not physical attack. Special. If Jacob runs a physical Chandelure at any point, I'm just gonna be like, oh okay. But nah, this thing's good. Will-O-Wisp, Hex is a good combo. Infiltrator, so it can get past subs. I forget if it still gets access to Flash Fire. I'm not sure that it does. No, Shadow Tag's the one it doesn't get access to anymore. I think it... Yeah. I think? I don't know. You could tell I'm not that experienced with 5th gen. Because I hate 5th gen. Anyway. Oh! This made me so mad. I wanted to draft Stack Attack. USSR Syrinx took it. They drafted both the Seal types I wanted to... There were 2 Seal types I really wanted. Like, if I didn't get one, I'd get the other. who has his Arcerings, draft them both. Oh, Stakataka has, I think, the highest defense in OU and below. I think it has the highest defense, if I'm not mistaken, and it's got decent attack, and it gets access to Beast Boost, obviously being an Ultra Beast, so every time it gets a kill, most likely its defense is going to be raising. This thing is going to be very hard to take down. I really wish I got it. Oh, I wanted this thing really badly. I've never used it, but I wanted to. I wanted this thing because I wanted a really good steel type, a bulky steel type, and he took it, and he took the other one I wanted to, but we'll get to that later. Just making sure. Paras Automatons, draft a Logan Muck. An interesting pick. It only has one weakness to ground. Personally, I'm not a fan of this mon design-wise, but you know, it's pretty powerful. I mean, it's higher tier than regular Muck, so it's gotta be good. I mean, Muck's pretty strong, so I'm assuming this thing is strong too. Yeah, I don't know much about this thing because I don't use it because I don't like it. I don't like it design-wise, so whatever. Moving on. And then the Valencia Venusaur's Colin Dress Togekiss. He now has his Steel Fairy Dragon Core with Celesteela, Garchomp, and Togekiss. I'm sure some other people do too, I'm just not remembering off the top of my head. But this thing is very powerful. Of course, when facing this thing, you're unfortunately going to be dealing with some hacks because of the Serene Grace. Whew! It's going to be interesting, to say the least. That's all I have to say about that one. Moscow Magikarps draft Volcanion. Oh, God. Water Fire type. Great coverage. Water Absorb for the ability. Great ability. It basically has a Z Scald as a normal move, being Steam Eruption, of course. I mean, it's not that powerful, but it's more powerful than Scald. That's all I got. I don't know much about what this thing gets. I'm going to need to research these to prepare for the battles. And then he drafts Mantine. And I don't know why this thing is UU. I've never liked it. I've never liked this Pokemon. So I don't know what it does. I mean, obviously it's a water flying type. 4 times weakness to electric, but, I mean, you can take care of that just fine. Yeah, I don't know what this thing does. I don't know why it's UU. I'm going to have to look that up before the battle, obviously, to figure out why this thing is as good as it is, apparently. So, whatever. Oh, and then Terrakion. This thing is dangerous. Rock fighting type. Very high physical attack, and I think it's got decent physical defense. That might just be assuming that all rock types are physically bulky. Hashtag not all rock types. Hashtag no tall rock types. That's a John Oliver joke for you guys. Anyway, this thing is very powerful. I don't have much to say about a lot of these mons because I don't know exactly all there is to know about them. So, whatever. I should have gotten Kade to do this with me, because he said he would if I wanted him to. I decided, you know, I'm recording this kind of late, so I decided to just do it by myself, and now I'm regretting that because I have hardly anything to say about some of these mons. Paras Automaton's draft Stormy. I do have stuff to say about this, because I've used this quite a bit. It's a good mon. Water Psychic type. Natural Cure is the ability you should use, because Analytic is worthless on this thing because it's fast. It's fast, so that's good. Very good special attack. Really good coverage. Like, it gets access to Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, of course, Stab, Water, and Psychic moves. Calm Mind. It gets access to a lot of stuff you wouldn't expect it to get access to. But it's a good mon. I'm gonna lay down on my stomach. Real low. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah. Again, very strong special attacker. And if it gets status and you're running Natural Cure, switch out and you're good. And this is the other one I wanted. This is the other Steel type I wanted. Metagross. It's so powerful. It's got great attack, great defense. Oh, I wanted this thing. This was actually my first choice for a Steel type, and then my backup was Stakataka. I don't know why this guy drafted them both, but he did, and oh, it upsets me because I got a Steel type, but it's not the one I was hoping for. Get out of here, System Center Endpoint Protect. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, okay, we're good. I was like, oh, no, I fucked everything up. Oh, but this thing, oh, it's so powerful. There's a reason it's Mega is Ubers. This thing is powerful enough without a Mega. Oh, man. Oh, I'm so upset I didn't get it. Oh, well. Chicago Chandeliers. Now, Alex. Oh. Okay. Just ignore this. Just ignore it. Anyway. Alex was so pissed about this. Like, Alex felt about this. Well, Alex probably felt more strongly about this pick than I did about Stakataka and Metagross being sniped for me, because Alex has a strong personal connection to Crobat. He uses it in virtually every playthrough I've seen him do where it's available. He's using one right now in our verses. I used one with his nickname during Alpha Sapphire, and Jacob took it. It's a very powerful mon, very fast, surprisingly bulky, or that might just be Golbat with Eviolite, but I think this thing's decently bulky too. And actually, you can run this thing physical respect. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, this thing, it's fast. It will outspeed most things. So, yeah. That's all I've got to say about that one. Alex might trade for it. You never know. We will see. You know how I said I hated 5th gen? Well, I don't hate this mon. Because I saw what this thing could do in the ATL. Because, if you guys did not know, in the ATL, my Slurpuff lead was at the top of kills chart. So it had the most kills for, I think, the first week or two. This thing is the one that had the most kills overall in the league. So, this thing's powerful. And I wanted to grab it for my Steel Dragon Fairy Core. This was my first choice for a dragon, and I'm so glad it didn't get sniped. And this is the other mon where Kay is like, oh, that's one of the best mons in UU. You have that and Infernape, you're so lucky. So, I am very lucky. And it also works as a dark type if I don't want to bring Greninja. So it can fulfill that role too. Which is nice to have some options. I mean, I am doubling up on typings a little bit, but It is, again, it's nice to have options. And I remember, like, in the ATL, I tried to, as hard as I could not to double up on types. In this league, I just decided to get the cores and not worry too much about doubling up on types. Just get what I needed. I just wanted to get what I needed. So, yeah. And I needed Hydreigon for my Steel Dragon Fairy Core. I didn't get the Steel type I wanted, but I got the Dragon type I wanted, and you'll see later on that I got the Fairy type I wanted. I mean, I already kind of spoiled that I picked Slurpuff, but, you know, whatever. Oh, the Brighton Bewares grabbed Gliscor. Kade was pissed about this one. UU draft was so much more intense than the OU draft. OU draft, everybody got what they wanted, except for me sniping Greninja from Mikey, and apparently Aaron as well. But apart from that, pretty much everyone got what they wanted in OU. And in UU, so many people got sniped. So many people got sniped. And the Brighton Bewares snipe Kade. And, oh, it's understandable that Kade wanted this Mon, because this is a bulky boy. He's got decent attack, very good defense. And the Poison Heal is what really gets you, because it just keeps recovering. There's no reason not to run Poison Heal Toxic Orb on this thing. It gets access to Stealth Rocks, Defog, Knockoff, Roost, I believe, for even more recovery, as if it needed that. Only got 2 weaknesses, one of them being a 4x weakness to Ice, but this thing is dangerous enough where that doesn't matter too much. We have the Canada Chargebugs with Primarina. This is a powerful Mon. It's Water Fairy type, fulfilling both a Water Grass Fire Core. God, I made the mistake again. And a Steel Dragon Fairy Core. So yeah, this works nicely with Cortana and Zygarde. I forget if Alex got a fire type yet. Might get one later. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's got strong special attack. And yeah, it works well with the rest of his team. Liquid Voice is a great ability, turning any sound-based moves into water-type moves. That's huge. That's all I've got to say about that. Oh! At this point in the draft, I was thinking, hey, you know what? I might wait for my Steel type and just get another powerful Mon. I might grab Gengar. And then Mikey gets his revenge. I mean, I didn't say I wanted Gengar. I did not pull a Mikey and talk about my want for Gengar. But he drafted it, and I'm like, no! And then he's like, that's revenge for Greninja. Even though he had no idea I wanted this thing. But this thing's a powerful Mon, of course. It was OU until they got rid of its Levitate, but even without Levitate, it's still a great Mon. Curse Body, I've learned from the Metronome Battle Federation, which is a Pokemon League where you can only use Metronome. I've learned from that league that Curse Body is more useful than you realize it is. And of course, this thing has great special attack, great speed. It's frail as paper. But, oh, okay. We're fine. Stream is fine. The video is fine. Yeah, it's very powerful, got great coverage. I wanted it after both my desired Steel types got sniped. I wanted this thing, but I didn't get it. Oh well. And then he gets the Wheel Pick and grabs Seismitoad, which is a great water type. Of course, Water Ground being only weak to grass. It's a 4 times weakness, but it's only 1 weakness. So, I don't really know what else this thing does, other than the fact that it's only weak to grass. So, yeah. Oh, I'm just making sure I didn't skip anything. Whew! This thing can be dangerous. Anaheim MUX draft Reuniclus. Very strong psychic type. It's a great physical. No, not physical. It's bulky, and it's got great special attack, and it can raise its special attack and special defense even higher with Calm Mind, to the point where it becomes unstoppable. I've seen it in other leagues. I considered drafting it myself, but I already had Mew, so what was the point? But this thing is dangerous. This thing can become unstoppable with like 2 Calm Minds and you're done, honestly. Even 1 Calm Mind, if you don't have the right mons to do with it, you're done. Yeah. I've seen it just wreck house in other draft leagues. I'm not looking forward to facing it, especially with the rest of Kade's team. Wait. What? Oh, that's right. Mikey wasn't available right away, so he had to draft 2 mons in a row. That's why they both drafted 2, because Kade actually had the Wheel Pick, and he drafted Hippowdon because Gliscor was already taken. It's a, it's a good ground type. I remember using it back in my Diamond, back when I just played through Diamond. I've never used it in competitive, but obviously it's good. I actually didn't realize it was UU until like I was looking at potential monster draft, and I was like, wow, really? I didn't think this thing was that good. I remember liking it when I played through Diamond, but I didn't think it was that good. Apparently it's good. I don't know exactly why it's so good. Like Mantine, except I like this thing a lot more than Mantine. But, we'll see, I guess. And then the Wisconsin Whiscash. Oh. Yeah, forgot about this. My first 2 choices for Steel types were taken, and then Gengar was taken. I was like, okay, I will draft a Steel type this time around so that all the good ones don't get sniped from me. And I considered Fastbender, Magneton. I used it in the ATL for a little bit. It didn't put in as much work as I wanted to, but I still liked it, and I would have liked to use it again to kind of, again, redeem myself with it a little bit. But Mikey takes it, and I don't blame him. It's very good. I like it better than Magnezone because of Eviolite potential, and the fact that it is slower means it gets to take more advantage of Analytic if you run it like that. Of course, Sturdy is also an option. Magnet Pull if you want to go there, which you might want to for Aaron's team because he's got a lot of Steel types. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about Magneton. Again, I use this thing poorly in the ATL. Let's hope Mikey uses it better, except not against me. Don't use it better against me, please. Oh, and Alex drafts another Ultra Beast. This is his second Ultra Beast. Nihilego. It's a good rock poison type. I believe it's the only rock poison type. It's got the quad weakness to ground, but I think it's generally bulky enough to take most hits. And Poison type is very good, because Fairy types are very powerful, and although none of the main cores I keep talking about include Poison, a Poison type can be very helpful for Fairy types, specifically. So this is good for him. Yeah, again, I don't really know all of what it gets access to, but I know it's good. So there you go. This is the Steel type I ended up drafting. I was debating between this and Lucario. Ultimately decided to go with this instead of Lucario, because I already had a good fighting type. Basically, I asked people in the chat, in the Discord, I was like, should I go with another mixed attacker or something annoying? No, the way I phrased it was, should I go with another mixed sweeper or an annoying little shit? And because I already have so many mons that are mixed attackers, and that's what they're made for, is just like full offense, I decided to go with something that isn't necessarily full offense, because full offense is normally that's the way I normally play, but I know for this type of league, I'm going to need some different strategies at some point, and I think Klefki will be helpful for that. Obviously, it's a Steel and Fairy type, which is, again, as I mentioned with Magearna, great typing. And this thing gets Prankster with Thunder Wave. I'm blanking on what else it gets. But it gets plenty of moves to take advantage of Prankster. And it can be annoying. It can be very annoying. It can be very annoying. I've never really used it. I'm excited to use it. And also I sniped Jacob, so that was good. So, since I sniped him, he ended up going with Swampert, which, again, Water Ground is a great typing. I know a little bit more about this thing than Seismitoad, because I've actually used this thing in my Alpha Sapphire playthrough back on my main channel. Great physical attacker. He can't Mega Evolve it, because he drafted in UU, and Mega Swampert is OU. He does get a Mega later. He was actually the last person to draft his Mega, but we'll get to that later. Again, the one weakness is very helpful. I believe even with, without, I think it gets Damp as its hidden ability, which, you know, can't explode on it, so that's good. Wow, I don't know as much about this thing as I thought. Oh well. The USS Arcerings draft a former member of the Cloud City Cubones. I had no interest in drafting this thing again because I did so poorly with this thing. This thing was not good for my team. Back in the ATL. I drafted the better Water Dark type, but, you know, I still like this thing. It's got decent physical attack. Adaptability is a great ability. It's got great coverage. It's got Aqua Jet for priority, Knockoff, Crab Hammer, I think it's the most powerful water physical move, physical water move, even more powerful than Liquidation, I think. I think it actually does get Liquidation if you want to run that instead. Night Slash, I believe Night Slash and Crab Hammer both having a high chance to crit, so that's cool. Gets X-Scissor, Superpower, yeah, overall, great mon. I just used it poorly, and didn't want to take my chances with it again. The Paris Automatons draft Crocodile, a great mon, one of the few 5th gen Pokemon I actually like. Ground Dark type, like Salamence, it gets access to both Intimidate and Moxie, both great abilities, whichever one you want to run. Of course, for King Nappy fans, this thing is liability. You know, he drafted it in the UCL Season 1, didn't think it was going to be great, ended up being one of the best mons on his team, and that's kind of how I fell in love with it. I mean, I've never used it personally, and didn't have plans to draft it, because I already had 2 great dark types I was planning on drafting. I got them both, so hooray. But this thing is great, and it gives Aaron a much needed fire counter. Much needed fire counter. Same thing for Jacob Swampert. They were both much needed fire counters. So that's good. And then Colin finally drafts his Mega. He drafts Mega Manectric. Gets Intimidate. It's got a good special attacking stat. I don't know why I phrased it like that. It's got good speed. That's all I really know about it. Moving on. Moscoe, Magikarps draft another former member of the Cloud City Cubones, Nidoking. Wasn't planning on drafting this. It wasn't in my draft plan because it wasn't part of any of my cores. I wanted to get the cores out of the way first. But I do love this thing. It's got great coverage. Sheer Force Life Orb, great combination, especially for all the coverage it gets. You can run it physical or special. Most of the time you're going to be running it special, but you can run it physical if you want. This thing's great. I do genuinely enjoy it. It was certainly one of the greatest members of the Cloud City Cubones during the ATL Season 1. I think it had the second most kills behind Slurpuff. I think. And I think I brought it to all but 1 or 2 games. So yeah, this thing, you know, Richard III, he's probably not going to name it Richard III, but that's what I will always remember this guy as. And of course, I'm not looking forward to facing it, because I know what it does. I know it very well. Yeah. And the Brighton Bewares draft Cobalion. I briefly considered this for my Steel type, but I ultimately decided I did not want to draft more than 1 Gen 5 mod, because I hate Gen 5. Sorry, Jacob, if you're watching this, but it's true. But this thing's good. Again, with Terrakion, it's got a good typing, good physical attack, Sword Stance to raise that attack even higher, and that's all I really know about it. Moving on. And I believe that's it for you. Yes. Now we're on to RU. Canada Charger Bugs. Alex drafts Hoopa Confined. Ghost Psychic type. I just realized Alex has 3 Psychic types. Interesting. Anyway, I'm sure he'll be fine. Again, I don't know much about this Pokemon, so I'm gonna move on. Whew! I hate this Pokemon so much. Oh. And for a completely different reason than I hate. Like this, I hate this mon for a completely different reason that I hate Volcarona. I just hate, like, a lot of, Colin's team, I realize. But for different reasons. I just hate this thing because I hate it because I hate it. That doesn't justify anything. I'm not going to go into why I hate it right now, but, you know, I acknowledge the fact that it is a powerful mon. It is bulky on the special side, difficult to deal with. It gets recover. It's also a good special attacker. I'm not looking forward to facing it, A, because I hate it, and B, because it's powerful. Yeah. Anyway. And Jacob finally drafts his Mega, the last one to draft his Mega. Of course, there's nothing in my rules that say you have to draft a Mega. But let's be honest, everyone's gonna draft a Mega, obviously. And Jacob was the last one to draft his Mega. Drafted Mega Ampharos. That's not to say Ampharos is a bad Mega. It's got a good typing with Electric and Dragon. I don't really know what else it does. I know it gets Cotton Guard, which can be annoying. And it's got good coverage. It's got like Signal Beam, Power Gem, Dragon Pulse, Thunderbolt, obviously being an electric type. Yeah, this thing, it's good. It's a good mon. The USSR Strings draft Roserade, another good mon to take advantage of Technician, like Mega Caesar does for the Paris Automatons. And again, this is one I don't know a lot about. Same typing as Venusaur. I did consider drafting this if I didn't get Venusaur. If I didn't get Venusaur, I would have probably drafted this. Although actually, I probably wouldn't have been able to, because I don't think I've drafted yet in this tier. So, yeah. Oh well. Good thing I got Mega Venusaur. But, I don't know. I've always wanted to use this thing, because it seems really cool, and I've seen it put in work, so there we go. The Paris Automatons draft a Blade! Oh, I am so glad I drafted Klefki, because this was the other steel type I kind of really wanted. And if I didn't draft Klefki and didn't get to draft this either, I would have just been like, okay, what the fuck do I do now? But this thing is dangerous. There's a reason Aegislash is Ubers. This thing is the next best thing. And it can run Eviolite, so it's super bulky. In addition to having a decent physical attack stat. Oh, I gotta stretch. Plenty of immunities. Great typing. I don't know all it gets access to, but I know it's annoying to deal with. I'm sorry, I'm just so happy to see this thing again. You guys knew I was gonna go for this thing again. The MVP at the Cloud City Cubones, and the reason we renamed to the St. Paul Slurpuffs. Oh, I love this thing. I love this thing. But here's the thing. Oh. God, apparently the... Oh, this is gonna open Steam, isn't it? Yeah, no, okay. Hang on, just... Exit big picture. Where... Shoot. Where is... Wait, where... Excuse me. Where... Okay, thank God. I was like, where the fuck is my Google Chrome? Okay. I guess Steam Link really didn't want me talking about Slurpuff. But you can't stop the Slurpuff. Actually, you can very easily. And that's what I was about to get into before I was so rudely interrupted, Steam Link. So, this was the MVP of our team during the ATL. But I used it very poorly after the first 2 weeks. See, I used it well in the first 2 weeks because I had a great strategy, you know, the Belly Drum and Burden set. Problem is, after a while, I brought this thing every week, And that strategy became predictable, and people were able to find a way around it. And that cost me some matches. I don't want to do that again. I mean, that's not to say I'm never going to use that strategy again. I'm going to use that again. Oh, I just knocked over episodes 1, 2, and 3. Oh well, they suck anyway. I actually like the prequels more than most people. I have them out because my stepdad wants to watch them with me at some point. Anyway, back on topic. So, I know that there are plenty of other sets I can run with this thing. And I'm going to try to be more varied in my Slurpuff sets. In hopes that I can redeem myself, because for Death Puff, I need to redeem myself for Death Puff. I mean, we renamed our freaking team for him. Yeah. This thing is going to be less predictable. And it's gotten access. It's the possibilities have expanded since Ultra Sun and Moon. So, that'll be nice. Hope I would love to see this thing top kill charts. We'll just see. We will see. The Wisconsin Whiscashers draft Moltres. I don't know much about this thing competitively, but I mean, it's worse. It's worse than Zapdos, better than Articuno. That's what I know. That's the extent of my knowledge on competitive Moltres. Oh, I need to stretch. Oh boy. Oh, this is taking forever. How long have I been recording? Wow, 1 hour and 26 minutes, and I'm just barely halfway through. Oh wait, I still need to talk about Z crystals. Oh shit. Okay, well, you know, I don't know much about this thing, so moving on. Brighton Bewares sniped Kade, drafted Shaman, base 100 across the board, like Mew, Celebi, all the other Piximons. I don't know that much about it. I know it misses seed flares. Bye. I'm just gonna try to speed round this a bit. Anaheim MUX draft Florges. This thing's so bulky. I'm scared. Ugh, it's disgusting. I love it though. I hate it. Oh shit. I did not think that through. Oh no. I need to grab a charger. Oh, I need to grab my charger. Oh, hang on. I got the charger. I finished talking about Florges. There we go. Alright. Oh, another bulky boy. Umbreon. Whew. It's bulky. It's a bulky dark type. It can stall. That's all I've got for you. And he gets the wheel pick with Raquinid. Bulky water type. Especially bulky. Water Bubble is a fantastic ability because it raises its own water type attacks while lowering opponents' fire type attacks, which are actually neutral against it because it's a bug type. And, bug types as a whole got a huge buff in Gen 7, and this is one of the greatest, arguably. Definitely a very strong boy. Mandibuzz. Oh, I know nothing about it except my Volibee will not become it yet because it takes forever to evolve because 5th gen sucks. That's all I got for you. I literally know nothing about that thing competitively. Escavalier, only weakness is fire. I assume it's got good physical defense, although I might be categorizing steel types just like I categorized rock types. Hashtag not all steel types, and hashtag no tall steel. Oh my, what? the fuck just happened? You guys saw that too, right? That was fucking terrifying. I need to move on. Oh, I drafted Snorlax. Hang on, I'm gonna close the door. Perkins is back. Oh. Perkins is back because this thing was great when I traded Magneton for it in the ATL. And now he's on our team from the beginning, and I hope to even take more advantage of him. Yeah, he's got good physical attack, good special defense, good HP. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to reveal my strats. And also, we've been recording for way too long. Drapion. This thing. Poison Dark type. Only one weakness, and that's ground. That's all I've got. It's a good physical attacker. I really don't know much about this competitively. So I think it's got decent physical defense too. So there you go. It gets knockoff too. Bronzong, good typing, steel psychic type. It's bulky. Again, Aaron has a lot of steel types. Cause I told them, you know, this is just a fun league. Don't worry about being too great. And he's kind of going with a theme for his team. Going for like an artificial type thing. He's got a good team, don't get me wrong, but I mean, this thing can be a little unpredictable because it could be either heatproof or levitate. So you gotta scout for that. Yeah, that's it for that. Golisopod, another great bug water type from Gen 7. It's a little worse because of emergency exit, but first impression, that's a cool thing. That's all I've got to say about this one. Tyrantrum, good. I like it. I used it when I was originally playing through Pokemon X. That's all I've got to say about this one. Sorry, I'm going really fast. Necrozma, I know literally nothing about this thing apart from it's apparently got good special attack. Obviously, Ultra Necrozma isn't a thing, but, you know, regular Necrozma apparently is still pretty good. Next, Salazzle. Great special attack, good typing, horribly frail, and the 4x weakness to ground does not help that. Next, Registeel. The exact opposite, pretty much, is bulky. I also considered this thing for a steel type, but ultimately didn't go with it. Oh, this thing is... Ooh. And it can set up curses and be really annoying. So, yeah. Cofagrigus Mummy is annoying. That's all I've got. Decidueye. It's a grass ghost type. It's bow guy. It's pretty cool. That's all I've got. Pangoro is cool, I guess. Sorry, I'm so out of it right now, so we're just gonna go through these really quickly. Zygarde, 10%? I forget what percent this is. I forget what percent it is. But, you know, I mean, it's good. Not as good as 50%, obviously, but still pretty good. It's a doggo. It's a good doggo. I drafted Jolteon because I wanted an electric type. I was considering Galvantula, but again, I didn't want to draft more than one 5th gen mon. But this thing is, again, one of the fastest mons in the game. Oh, there's a bug on my screen. You can't see it, but I can, and it's bothering. It's gone now. I killed it. And yeah, that's all I got for this thing. Virizion. I know literally nothing about this thing. Serena, same. Trop Kick's a thing, I guess. Gardevoir, Actually, I know quite a bit about this thing. I like it. Obviously he can't Mega Evolve it. Oh god, if he had Mega Gardevoir. Well, he's already got Mega Medicham, which is equally dangerous. But yeah, this thing's pretty good. Good typing. Synchronize and Trace are both decent abilities. Great special attack. It's got a lot of coverage. Calm Mind's a thing. That's all I got. Aerodactyl. Fast. Now we're on to NU. Ditto can transform into shit. Silvally can be any type. It's just a worse Arceus. I don't know why everyone loves it, but apparently it's pretty good, so whatever. Ursaring, mascot choice, no surprise here. Alolan Raichu, he's cool. He didn't draft Alolan Z, which I was upset by, but whatever. Vikavolt, mascot pick, again, kind of no surprise there. Clawitzer, Mega Launcher, sure. Cindy! I drafted Cindy the Gastrodon. I've been wanting to use this thing ever since Season 1 of the UCL, and I've never found a good place to use it until now. I'm very excited to use this boy, or girl, I mean. Obviously it's 2 water types, but considering Greninja can change its type, and this thing's only weak to grass, I don't think it matters that much. Excelgor, he's fast. Gorgeist, he can explode. Vanillite, or Vanillux, Duncan Knee Deep hates it. I like it. It's got freeze dry, so that's cool. Toxicroak, I actually really like Toxicroak. I've never gotten a chance to use it competitively, but I've always wanted to. Didn't really fit on my team this time around. But it's good. It's got a lot of Dark-type move for some reason. But it's cool. Absol, that's super luck. Jellicent, I've actually used this in a league before. Not one that was on YouTube, but my first ever draft league that I did. I used a Jellicent, and it was decent. It was actually pretty good. I drafted Dusclops. I needed a physically defensive Pokemon, and I wanted a Ghost type. I considered drafting Drifblim, but decided that, like, none of the other, like, designated, like, physical walls really interested me in NU, so I just decided to draft Dusclops, which can be both bulky in both regards, and it's got decent attack, so, yeah, it's actually a like, I'm excited to use this thing. Altaria, it's got Dragon Dance, so that's a thing. It can't be Mega, but, you know, that doesn't matter that much. I don't know much about this thing. Guzzlord, I laughed when Alex drafted this thing, if that gives you any indication of my... I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this thing's design. I think it's so goofy. I love this thing's design so much. I actually briefly considered drafting it on the design alone. And it's got very good HP. And of course, it's Alex's 3rd Ultra Beast. So don't sleep on it. Steelix is a bulky guy. I considered drafting this, but I got my Steel type, so I'm good. Gigalith, I briefly considered drafting this and then decided fuck no. But it's also a defensive boy. Garbodor. What can I say about Garbodor? What good things can I say about... I'm sorry. I'm sure it's a decent mon. I just don't like it. Scrafty. He's cool. Another mon that's got both Intimidate and Moxie. And Shed Skin if you want to go there. Yeah. Shuckle. Oh! I briefly considered drafting Shuckle again, but I didn't because I didn't want to. And Kade drafted it, and everyone got horrified. Considering it's Kade and he knows what. Oh. I need to finish this up quick. Considering Kade knows what he's doing, Shuckle could be dangerous. We'll see. Amistar is cool. I probably would have drafted it had I not gotten Slurpuff, but whatever. Is cool. It's got hazards, so that's cool. Blastoise, I mean Rain Dish, I guess. And it won the death battle, so. Xatu, it's an actual Totemon. Type Null. It's like Silvally, but without all the types. But it's got Eviolite advantage, so that's cool. Oh god, Jacob drafted this thing just because I hate it. Fuck you, Jacob. I drafted Delibird. I wanted a flying type. Again, I considered Drifblim, but ultimately went with Dusclops because I needed the bulk. And I was like, well, I still need a flying type. But I'm pretty satisfied with my team, so I'm going to draft something goofy. So I drafted Delibird. And you never know, Delibird could come in handy. It certainly comes in handy when I'm playing Pokemon Stadium 2. So, yeah. I love this. I've grown to love this thing through Pokemon Stadium 2. And so, is on the team now. If this thing gets kills, oh my gosh. I hope this thing actually does well. I want to see this thing do well. Because that would be awesome. And no, this isn't the last overall pick. Pyroar. I accidentally fucked up and drafted him Miltank at first. Because he wasn't available for the last bit of the draft, and he's like, oh, I want Miltank. And he's like, oh, do you have any? I was like, oh, do you have any backups? And he's like, let me check. And he's like, oh yeah, I want Pyroar. And I didn't realize he meant he wanted Pyroar over Miltank. So I initially drafted Miltank for him, but then he's like, dude, I wanted Pyroar, not Miltank. And then he's like, okay, you get Pyroar instead. So yeah, it's Hyper Voice. Glaceon. Also Hyper Voice? Does this thing even get Hyper? I'm pretty sure it does. But that doesn't really matter that much on a Glaceon. It would matter on a Sylveon, but not really a Glaceon. I don't know. This is literally the evolution I know the least about. Ms. Magius. I think this was the last overall pick? I want to say this was the last overall pick. It's a Mon. Yes! Now we're on to Z Crystals. Alex drafted Groundinium Z. Which is cool. He showed me a really cool strat. He found out using Groundinium Z on a particular Pokemon to take out another person's particular Pokemon. I won't say what it is because it won't give away his strats, but it's cool. I drafted Munium Z. Of course, I can only use this on Mew. So I'm a little less. I'm a little more predictable in that regard, but with how unpredictable Mew is anyway, I think it's fine. And also, Mew's Z move is OP, so I wanted it. USSR Syrinx got Firium Z. I don't remember what fire types he has, but whatever. Anaheim MUX got Farium Z. Almost drafted Tapunium Z without realizing what Guardian of Alola did. But this thing's scary on Tapu Koko, so watch out. Wisconsin Whiscash has drafted Icium Z. Guess for vanilla, because I don't know what else takes advantage of it. Probably Seismitoad. I don't remember what else he drafted that would take advantage of it. Psyche Z from the Moscow Magikarps. Again, I wanted him to draft a low Raikou Z, but he didn't. No surprise. Oh, wait, yeah, he drafted Normalium Z. See, I was thinking he would draft Steelium Z, and then as soon as he drafted Normalium Z, I was like, oh shit, does he know about Z conversion on Porygon Z? Which, he might not. If he's watching this video all the way, he does now, so... Ugh. Oh, that's scary. Oh. Okay. We're fine. Venusaur's got Rockin' EMZ. Flying EMZ from the Brighton Bewares. And Ghost EMZ from the Chicago Chandeliers. And that's it for the draft. Holy cow, how long was this video? Almost 2 hours. Jesus Christ, I need to end it now. Tune in Sunday for the battles. Hopefully they'll be up Sunday. Hopefully. And a couple of people might do team builders. God damn it. Go away. Go away. And yeah, see you guys in the battles. Peace.